Why me? I came from the bottom just like you. I went through the struggle just like you. The only difference is I'm not you, nigga. Why hate me? I even got friends that show me love. I even got friends that poke me up. I even got friends that lock me up. Nigga, why hate me? I came from the bottom just like you. Went through the struggles just like you. Only difference is I'm not you, nigga. Why hate me? I even got friends that show me love. I even got friends that poke me up. I even got friends that lock me up, nigga. Why hate me?
First off, it's my turn. A lot of niggas ain't gon' like that. No dad, but I fight back. Real nigga gon' strike back. I've been thinking about a lot of shit, but one thing that been hitting me is all this hate niggas giving me. This fake love shit sick of me. I just stay on my toes. Real niggas don't fold. No cap, say it bold. White champ be the code. Life filled with up and downs. One reason I don't fuck around. I ride niggas so buckle down. This real nigga gon' talk it now. I've been lost in my ways. Better yet, stay away. I'm tired of playing all them games. It's time to overlap you lames. They locked me down, stabbed me up, ran down, said I couldn't eat. I'm still rocking like this fucking beat. So no nigga, don't fuck with me. You tell the stories, well tell them right. Tired of niggas and they bullshitting. Fuck around, get your life tooken. Trying to live like the bull live. My cloth different, I learned that. When it came for me, I ain't turned back. I ain't talking about them hating niggas, but my fam went and turned back. Type of shit keep me cold. But fuck a nigga on the road. I've been on it since day one. I never changed since day one. This is me till that day come. I lost a lot, but I gained one. I said this is me till that day come. I lost a lot, but I gained one.
Why me? I came from the bottom just like you. I went through the struggles just like you. The only difference is I'm not you, nigga. Why me? I even got friends that show me love. I even got friends that poke me up. I even got friends that lock me up, nigga. Why me? I came from the bottom just like you. Went through the struggles just like you. Only difference is I'm not you, nigga. Why hate me? I even got friends that show me love. I even got friends that poke me up. I even got friends that lock me up, nigga. Why hate me? Why 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 me?
Check, check, 1 2 1 2. Check, check, 1 2 1 2. What up, guys? It's your girl V-Henny, man. You already know the vibes. Can I get a yer? Welcome to the Artistry, where we talk shit about music, entertainment, and the everyday life. Yeah. Today's gonna be a dope episode. We have Dre Howard, VP of Digital Marketing and Commerce, speaking with us via Zoom and just discussing things within like the labels, or like learning how to take your brand in a higher place, I would say, like just to generate some sort of income when it comes to like digitally marketing your music, you know. So shout out to Andre for that. Andre, for those that don't know, I've known Andre for a minute. I used him for my first panel, and such a dope panel. I'm mad that I didn't promote it. I promoted it heavy, however, at the time I was still building, so not too many people came. Let's just put it like that, you know. But it was such an informative panel, you know. Now I learned so much through during the process of all of this. So, you know, we definitely are planning on working more together, you know, and just providing information to help build artists. So just giving you that, you know, that FYI, guys. You know, I want to just say thank you to everybody who's been showing nothing but support. Remember, if you haven't subscribed as of yet, please click on that subscribe button, share, like, and comment. Show that support. You know, it's all free. Yo, Jade, we got King Jade in the building. What up, Jade? What up? What up? What up? How you doing? How you doing?
I'm doing well. How are you?
I'm good. I'm good. I got my, what is it? My crook and marker lemon tea.
That sounds good.
You got yours too. You have
Oh,
your.
no,
You have yours. You have the raspberry.
Oh, you see, that's what I thought.
I have the lemon tea, and what's dope about this is that this is vegan and non-GMO.
That's lit.
Super. I think it's good. I fuck with it heavy. So just letting you guys know, like, y'all already know, man. How you feeling?
Feeling good. I had a good week. You know, productive.
Productive week.
I went outside today, and it was like September. Like,
Oh yeah, really?
Yeah.
I haven't gone outside yet.
I stepped out to get the mail, and it was just so nice because it was so hot. Yesterday?
Summer is over.
I know.
Hoodie season is approaching. I actually fuck with hoodie season, so.
I love it.
So it feels like fall, huh?
It does.
We've been saying that though, like lately, like
Yeah,
we've been like,
I felt the shit.
yeah, like the seasons is changing. Like I'm not, like, are we the only ones like to feel that? Like if you can tell the difference, leave a comment, like let us know, because I'm like, damn, what is it, August?
Mm-hmm.
August, just like you said earlier, like August flew by.
Definitely.
August just fucked us, but August is always like that.
You think so? I mean, I don't know. I feel like August for me always has been like the longest month.
Really?
Yeah, because I feel like August is when I really enjoy my summer. You know,
I feel like it's always the shortest.
I'm always, you know, but this time I felt like it went by so quick.
I feel like August just comes in, fuck us, with no like condom, raw dog right here, no conversation, no cuddling, no nothing. And it's just like, I am out. September, where you at? You understand? Like, that's how I look at August. Like, August, like, yo, bring your hoodie too. You know, like, I don't know. Like, I feel like, I don't know. I feel like August is super quick. How was would you say you enjoyed your summer? How you, like, especially during this, because this is like the first pandemic summer for many. So it's like, did you enjoy your summer?
I definitely did. I don't think that the pandemic really got in the way too much, to be honest with you.
Okay.
I still enjoyed, like, my summer. We went to the beach a lot. We went outside. We went hiking. Like, we did a lot. So, I mean, I'm happy I was able to be home and do so. Because normally, if this pandemic didn't happen, a lot of us would have been working.
Yeah.
I
mean, I think I'm gonna keep it a buck. I think
I was like, not you. We all know.
I'm like,
you're your own boss, but not a lot of people. I like that. Okay.
I'm just saying. I listen. I'm not knocking those that like that work. A 9 to 5. Or whatever your hours, you're working for a company, like, shout out to you guys. Like, honestly, like, I'm not one of those entrepreneurs I'm not one of those entrepreneurs that knock a 9 to 5. I actually learned to not knock the 9 to 5. You understand? Because at the beginning, and this is like while I was still working my 9 to 5 but starting my business, I was still knocking, like, oh, why you want to, like, work for someone else? Like, and that's because I did not understand that we need our bus drivers, right? We need our teachers. We need our, judges, or whatever it is you do, we need you guys, in order to, in order to, like, just build a community in a sense, right? To support one another, to trade, to whatever, conduct business, to interact. Like, we definitely need that. And I learned that. Like, I learned that sometimes it's okay, it is okay to work for a company. If that's something that you want and you're passionate about, more power to you. Like, I feel like people need to stop trying to convince others, like, yo, you need to be an entrepreneur. No, if they don't want to, then let them fucking be. Like, that's their life. Their dreams are not is different from yours. Not everyone. And I learned that. I think what turned me off, what turned me off to that, like the whole trying to convince people that because my dreams should be your dreams in a sense, right? Was doing network marketing. Because with network marketing, it taught it put me in a place where I was just like, bro, not everybody, just because they don't want to do this with me does not mean they don't support me. And that's what, like, in the team I was in, I feel like that was the message they were conveying, where they were like, yo, if they don't do this with you, that means they don't support you. They're not your friends. And I'm like, let me tell you something, sis. If I'm in a fight and I call so-and-so, they're there. Or if I'm doing a show and I need people there, they're here. You understand? Like, that's a proven fact. So, I don't know. I just wanted to say that because I just feel like certain people don't realize that. But so, shout out to everybody who's still working during this pandemic, you know? Don't feel bad. You don't feel as if like, oh, you know, you're forced into making changes, or you're forced into do something that you don't want to do. Now, shout out to those that do want to be an entrepreneur and they're taking the initial steps to start off their business. I think that's super dope as well, you know. So shout out to everybody who's just on a grind, because this pandemic, you know, some people, I feel like some people, you know, everybody's grinding. Some people, you know, were on a standstill, you know, they felt stuck. So, you know, but yeah, that's pretty much it with that. As far as like the pandemic, for me, pandemic or not, like, things are still like the same for me. I'm still like, I will say I'm happy that I was able to still enjoy life. You know, it's funny because we was talking about it, right? Like, remember we was talking about, like, when this first started, yo, guys, I was super scared, right? Yo, I was paranoid, and that's because at the time I was living with my mom, right? And my mom, all she does is watch the news, and that news at that given moment, when I came back from tour, that news scared the fuck out of me, and I was like, it's a war zone. We gotta start working out, start jogging, because if zombie apocalypse happens, we gotta be prepared for this. We have to store food.
I know, right?
Like, I was
like, I got a double basket, like,
yo, bro, I was and as I started working, like, I think I was like that for like 2 weeks, right?
You were like that for like a good 2.5 weeks, and then after you got used to being outside, it got a little better. But you were a lot of people, not just you, were very paranoid because of all the
commotion, all the like.
That's all the news was focused on.
All the information and false information that was out there.
Oh yeah.
Cause I was doing DoorDash and yo, I was throwing shit. I was like, ding dong, and throwing the fucking sub at the door, like. How's my ratings? No, let me stop.
She would put hand sanitizer on her gloves just to make sure.
Don't judge me for that though, because I was putting on my gloves, right? And because you still take it out, mind you, you know, like when I'm driving, the gloves is touching the steering wheel and everything, so it makes no sense to have gloves and it's still, you're here touching everything that might have the virus or whatever, you know, at that time. And I'm just here like, then I take off the gloves and then hand sanitize again. Like, it was insane. It was insane. I mean, good times, right? Like, yo, like, shout out to my baby niece that was born. She's a Corona baby, right?
No, that's crazy.
Yeah, she's a Corona baby. She's a Corona baby, yo. That shit's fucking funny. Like, you have your Gen Zs, you have your millennials, and you have your Corona. Your millennials, your Gen Zs, and your Corona babies.
Crazy. You know how many babies were born during this pandemic?
You know how many divorces were?
It's crazy.
it was during this pandemic. You know, was that to like be with whoever, like your spouse, your like, or your family. Like, this is the time where you're really getting to know a person. I feel bad for those who were stuck in toxicity. That hit me hard. I was like, damn, yo,
Domestic abuse.
yeah. I was like, fuck, like I don't think we understood like this. I don't think we understood or really believed this was gonna last as long,
Yeah.
So, now going, I definitely want to speak very quickly before we take a music break. I want to definitely speak on knowing your value, understanding your values, paying dues, and just building. What is it like? You're building in your relationships, or so. I know, like, part of the building with your relationship I spoke about on like maybe 2 weeks ago, was it? Which I got crazy feedbacks from that. How introduction is key, the etiquette towards all of this, as far as like building relationship within the business, Also, I feel like people need to understand and know your value. So the reason why I'm like, because we can know our value, but understand our value as well when you're starting off. And this is where paying dues come in, Like, I don't knock people for certain things. There's a difference between paying dues and not being a sucker. So I will definitely say that. Like, it's okay to pay dues, but don't play yourself, Don't be a sucker into certain things. When I started the Artistry, because before the Artistry, I took a 2-year break, and before that, I was doing music. I was rapping and whatever. So that was, that's the old version of me as an artist. Once I started the Artistry, this was like a new version of like the media personality, the business, the behind the scenes and everything, right? And I learned to carry the respect within my name, to carry respect within myself. I learned to build relationships. I also learned that in this industry, you have to pay dues. Point blank, period. You have to pay dues. Once you pay your dues, again, like I said, don't be a sucker about certain things, right? Like, don't be a sucker towards, like, you're not, when I say that, don't be a sucker towards certain things. It's like, if you don't believe in a brand or and the company or whatever it is, you're not obligated to paying dues for that person, or for that brand. It's okay to say no. This is where you learn to understand and know your value, But I want people to understand that also once you pay your dues, right, and you put yourself out there, you've done the footwork, such as myself, right? I put the footwork. I was out there. I network. I'm still doing, the footwork. I'm still putting in the work. I still am. But now I'm at a place where I know my value, right? But that's because it was just a process of like the paying the dues, again, the connections, the relationships. Yo, do you not realize that when you ask a person, I'm going to say such as myself, for service, like when you come into me and you're asking for service, don't get offended when I am providing a service fee. Okay? Again, let me just repeat myself again. When you come to a person such as myself and you're asking for a service, do not get offended when when I am providing a service fee. You know how offensive that is for me, especially if I don't have the relationship like that with you. I can be building with you, but you know, and I'm the type, I think everybody knows how I am. I build with you and I build a relationship with you. There's a lot of times I've done things for free just cause I believe in you, I believe in your brand and everything. But however, understand that this is my 9 to 5. This is my career. This is my work, my job, you know? So when you're coming to me for a service, do not get offended with me providing a service fee. Stop trying to cut corners, bro. Like, stop trying to devalue a person's brand. You're devaluing their effort, all that hard work, their time. Yo, do you not realize the time and effort I've put into and energy I've put into my business, V-Henny, my brand V-Henny, my business, the Artistry Entertainment, the art of music. I lost valuable time with family, with loved ones. There was many moments where I had to sacrifice myself. And when I say that, I'm talking about sacrificing myself with like the whole fact that there was times that it was either work or go hang out and chill. You understand? For my pleasures. I had to sacrifice my sleep. You understand? So, like, I'm offended by that. I'm offended that for those who get offended by the fact that such as myself will provide you a service fee. Like, get the fuck out of here, bro. Like, no. Life ain't free, bro. Scam money makes no money. Like, in life, like, you have to spend, and especially you have to spend. Everything's a transaction. From you going to the store, buying a piece of gum, you understand? Like, that's a Denty Ice, or buying milk. Everything's a transaction in life. I learned that in business school. When he told me in business school, and business was my major, and in business 101 they had told me, like, yo, everything you do in life there's a transaction. You're making a transaction every day. You know, so you don't go to the bodega store. To some people do actually ask for discounts or whatever, but you know, you don't go to the bank and you ask them for discounts or for shit for free. You know, I feel like everybody always wants stuff for free, and they're discarding the effort and the time that's being put into whatever it is. When I go to a person, even my own peoples, bro, like, I learned this. I had to learn it. This was part of the process. This was part of paying dues. This was part of understanding my value, understanding and knowing my worth. I go to friends now, like friends / business partners, and I go to them like, yo, I need this from you. And they're like, yeah, sometimes they'll do it on the strength. And I'm like, no, I'm paying you. Like, I'm paying you. Because at the end of the day, this is what you do for a living. This is what you're telling me, yo, I wanna work for myself. You understand? I want to create an income, a steady income with my business. So if this is something that you want to do, I am gonna provide the fee. Like, you know, you give me a fee and I'll do it. You know, like, I mean, there's other ways you can do business. You can barter. You know, I barter. You know, I learned a lot in business. You know, like, you have your bartering agreements. You have your, you know, I know with certain people that I worked with for such a long time. but I put them in positions to make money. Artists, like, instead of charging you, I'm paying you. You understand? Like, I've done, like, I am negotiating. I know how to negotiate, and I know how to value your brand. So I'm offended when people come to me asking me for a service and they expect the service to be free. I don't know, am I wrong for that? Like,
Nah, I don't think you're wrong for that, honestly. I find it extremely offensive when people come to me asking for my services for free. Like, just because they know me or whatever. It's just like, you've never supported me in any other way, and now because you need something from me, now I need to give that to you for free. Like, it doesn't work that way, you know?
it doesn't. And I'm like, and I hate to repeat myself with this. I had to put in work, time. I'm still doing it. You're still doing it. You know, like, you're putting in so much time and effort into your business. I'm nowhere near where I'm at because I understand that I want more. You understand? So I get that. Because I want more to life, because I want, you know, I want residual income. I want, you know, like, I just want, like, I want wealth, right? So I have to learn the concept. I have to learn what it means to build and generate wealth. You have to put in that energy. You understand? That effort. When you want to be great, you got to do great. You understand?
No, 100%. And I also feel like when you are building yourself up, you do have to give in and give shit for free, so you can build relationships with people.
Paying dues.
Yeah. So you can build it. You can build yourself up. But it's those people that only were supportive when you were doing that. You know, when you were in that phase of building yourself up. I get frustrated when those same people who kept coming to you kept loving your work and whatever, but as soon as you're like, okay, now I charge. Oh, okay, damn, sorry. Like, I can't do that right now. And it's like, oh, so you, like, you know, it's like an insult. Like, you were only, like, I feel used, because it's like you're putting, like you said, all this time, all this effort into whatever it is that you're doing, and then for somebody to be like, nah, can I have that for free?
or like, because don't get me wrong, because let me tell you something, I've charged artists, and I've had people seeing, like, what I've charged, and like, that's all you're charging? People in the industry. Like, they'd be like, nah, that's what you charge. I'm like, yeah, I make it to a place where it's affordable. You know, like, I understand that people struggle, especially as an artist, you know, like, I understand certain artists do struggle. Hence the reason why most times, I put you in a position to make money. Wow, you know, like, whatever it is, you know, I'm gonna keep it a buck. Like, I feel like it's 80%, and that's me trying to, you know, like, bring it down because I don't want to big myself up. But I'm like, 80% of the time, I put you in a place to build some sort of income working with me, you know, or like generate some sort of like what capital, you know, like building a relationship with me.
I mean, I feel like that's fine. I feel like, you know, if you're reasonable with your pricing or even care about the relationships that you do build, I feel like that's not the problem. I just feel like the issue is that sometimes people get comfortable with you bending and you giving them that treatment. All right, this time, don't worry about it. Like,
and then they'll get offended and then don't try to play me, bro. Don't try to say I don't have a following. Like, are you stupid? Like, don't try to say, like, I don't have, you're right, I don't have enough following. I should be having more. You're absolutely right. I should be working on more. But don't try to say I don't have a following. What? Yet you're coming to me. So I'm just like, wait, what? I don't get it. Like, I'm like, so you're coming to me for my services, and then you want to say, like, because I don't have, all right, so then, bye. I'm not losing out. it is what it is. Like, I can get offended by it for like 2.5 seconds, and then that's it. I'm gonna keep going. I'm gonna keep it moving. Like, I'm not gonna allow that to be, something where I'm gonna dwell on it. Nah, it's all good. Like, I know I have people who definitely fuck with me. Influencers and etc., But, it's cool. That's how you feel, that's how you feel. All I'm saying is that I'm not gonna give my service out for free anymore. I've done it for so many years. I've done it for so many years, and it's now that I'm putting my foot down. And a lot of people, you have to respect it at this point.
I mean, yeah, it's the principle.
Absolutely.
It's not even down to the money. It's just the principle. Respect what it is that I do. This is an exchange. It's not what can benefit you. You're gonna use my services and I get exposure. Exposure doesn't pay bills.
No, it doesn't.
In certain situations, it can be helpful. Don't get me wrong, but at the end of the day, it doesn't pay bills. Yeah,
it doesn't. But I think everything is a learning process for everyone, and that's their process.
Yeah, 100%.
I already know. I had to go through what I went through. Everything that I have is organic. My followers from Instagram, it's organic. My interactions, it's organic. I'm still building, and I'm partnering up with bigger names now. Everything that I'm doing is organic. My shit is just don't come to me you can't. I leave it like that. That's because I'm I want to go in, but then I was like, don't go in, because I already went in last time. But I'm just gonna leave it like this. I'm gonna play some music after this, but I carry myself with respect. I carry myself with principles. I'm no sucker. I paid my dues. So, what is it with my shirts, with my hashtag? Respect the artistry. And that's it. Point blank. Period. And I'll be back.
Swift on demand. I walk in the spot, zip, the sound of they lips. Niggas ain't really on shit. I'm up in the VIP, grip, pull on my hip. Niggas don't wanna get hit. Got off my ass and got me a bag. I know you wishing that you did the same. Show a little cash, I'm not tryna brag. Show a nigga I'm not in it for fame. I hop on the track, don't follow directions. Ain't no one stopping this motherfucking train. I be like, move, bitch, move, bitch, get out the way. Think when I'm coming to play. Only fuck with big dogs, we ain't fucking no strays. We take a trip, only in it to stay. Ain't fucking you, nigga, this pussy no trade. Said you got money, nigga, show that. We in a strip club, nigga, throw that. Got on my Timbs, nigga, hold that. Still storming bitches out, and you know that. Shit out the Ville, I'm a big deal. Project, baby, no Kodak. I'm aggressive, baby, you know that. I'ma bag me a nigga where your phone at. If I say fuck you, I meant that little nigga. Bringing my friends with your friends, that little nigga. Riding the Benz with that Benz, that little nigga. Pocket and watch how you spin that little nigga. If I say fuck you, I meant that little nigga. Bringing my friends with your friends, that little nigga. Riding the Benz with that Benz, that little nigga. Pocket and watch how you spin that little nigga. If I say fuck you, I meant that. Ain't playing with feelings for clip bags. All my niggas, they strapped up like pimp bags. Know you wearing those khakis, we whip lads. If I say fuck you, I meant that little nigga. Bringing my friends with your friends, that little nigga. Riding the Benz with that Benz, that little nigga. Pocket and watch how you spin that little nigga. Quick to finesse niggas, then I give them back. That's right, when those strings attached. I argue win over no dick when that nigga ain't even get the clap. Lining that nigga right up like a ball, but if he don't act right, I play with his father. Took all his chicken, he felt like a farmer. Told that little nigga I'm his motherfucking karma. I see you pocket watching why this money dropping. Little bitch, you offending me. I'm not with the shit you popping. We could get it boxing, you get hit like it's enemy. Bitch, I'm a pro when it come to finesse. I like playing games like it's Russian roulette. Never been a bitch that I seen as a threat. Shit, I might just go sign me some bread. If I say fuck you, I meant that little nigga. Bringing my friends with your friends, that little nigga. Riding the Benz with that Benz, that little nigga. Pocket and watch how you spin that little nigga. If I say fuck you, I meant that little nigga. Bringing my friends with your friends, that little nigga. Riding the Benz with that Benz, that little nigga. Pocket and watch how you spin that little nigga. If I say fuck you, I meant that. Ain't playing with feelings for clip bags. All my niggas, they strapped up like pimp bags. Know you wearing those khakis, we whip lads. If I say fuck you, I meant that little nigga. Bringing my friends with your friends, that little nigga. Riding the Benz with that Benz, that little nigga. Pocket and watch how you spin that little nigga. Sweat on demand.
what up, guys? We back in the building. I got your boy, Dre Howard, a.k.a. Dre. What's good?
How are you? What's going on?
I'm good, yo. I'm good. Like we were just mentioning, it's been a minute. I think it was like, 2 years ago that I've...
It's like 2 years ago.
Yeah, you was in my panel. And that was just like the beginning of everything.
Yeah, it was me, S. Dot, the Rudis.
Yes. And Miss Lissa.
Yep, Miss Lissa.
Yeah. And congratulations on, I think you just everything you accomplished. That's super dope.
Oh, thank you. I appreciate that.
For those that don't know, like, you are an artist manager, you've done A&R, marketing, you also now VP Digital Market and Commerce for just Warner Music Group, ADA, and Asylum Records, right?
Correct.
Yeah.
Correct.
Yeah,
So I'm excited about that. I just ended a stint over as a stint, like I did jail time. I just stopped working recently at E1.
Okay.
And it was a great experience, man. It was a really good experience, to be honest. It's a great team over there.
Okay.
General manager Sean Stevenson, another cat I work with, Bill Wilson, and even Alan. I have nothing bad to say about Alan. Alan's all right with me, Alan Grunblatt. But, and a lot of, some of my really good friends are over there. But, I was there for like a year. And
Okay.
it's funny because, like the whole, like when I did your panel, I was still doing my entrepreneurial stuff. And then I went back inside, started working for a label again. And E1, some of the projects I worked on over there was like the Games, Born to Rap album, Royce's, the Allegory album, Royce 5'9". Right before I left, we put out that album is dope. Royce is
a beast.
He's like almost inhuman. You know what I mean? Like, it's like certain people, the things that they could do with words, like him, Pharoah Monch, and Black Thought from the Roots. You know what I mean? Like, I'm pretty sure it's a couple more, like Tech Nine, out of Kansas City. But just some of the things that these cats do with words. Oh, and I can't forget Eminem. But I worked on that album. Right before I left, we did the Brandy B7 album, which was a top 20 album. Brandy's an icon, R&B icon, actor, producer, songwriter. Matter of fact, next Monday, I know people, they have the verses with her and Monica.
Yes.
They finally got that verses together. They have been trying to get that together for a while, and there was just a lot of different things that wasn't falling into place, but things fell into place. So that should be really, really dope for, 90s, 2000s R&B lovers, to see them come together and celebrate their legacy. Because, at a certain point, it stopped becoming about the tit for tat and who had this and who had that, and just kind of just appreciating both of them for their contributions to the culture. I mean, Brandy's been around literally since like 96. I mean, same with Monica. They both been around since like 95, 96. Do
you think Monica's catalog can actually go toe to toe with Brandy?
I think Monica has some records, but if we're being completely honest, that's why, listen, I don't even want to say PC. I'm just being, I want to make it about their celebration of who they are, because from that, to answer your question truthfully, Brandy just has too many fucking records. You know what I mean? Like, too many. You know what I mean? Like her first 3 albums alone. You know what I mean? Like, and you got people, you forget the records like Sitting Up in My Room wasn't even on any of her albums. I was on the soundtrack for Waiting to Exhale. So like she just has so many records.
Yeah, she does. She definitely does. I mean, but I'm appreciating the way that the acknowledgement within the culture that's happening right now. And I guess this is the reason why, not one of the main reasons, but I think this is part of the reasons why we needed, on the positive side of the with this pandemic. You understand?
Yes. I mean, it speaks to so many different things. And think about how everything is like interlocked, right? So, you had the pandemic hit, which is horrible. You know what I mean? Like, almost what they said, almost 170,000 Americans have died so far.
Yes.
My homeboy's dad died. My homeboy just died literally like a week ago. Rest in peace, DJ Shay. you know, DJ Shay from Black Soprano family. You know, I went to high school with him. You know, I helped him, you know, get a deal over at E1 with Benny the Butcher and all that. Like, you know, and so, you know, COVID, you know, he fell victim to COVID. But like, just think of how everything's interlocked in terms of between that, and then you had the civil unrest between all this police violence and stuff like that happening, you know, and, you know, Black Lives Matter, right? And then look who comes to save the day, you know, like, you know, Black culture, you know what I mean? Like, what do you think, like, besides streaming, besides things like, you know, versus, you know, we're the ones that's kind of helping people kind of take their minds off of, you know, the loss. Yes, the loss, the negativity, you feel me, the unemployment, you know what I mean? Now, even if it's only for a moment, you know what I mean? Because, you know, if you're in a crunch or you're hurting financially, that's going to be something that's going to be, you know, that's going to bother you, you know what I mean? Like, that's going to be something that can really affect you. But, you know, just from a standpoint of giving you a brief moment of joy and satisfaction. Like, I know right when the pandemic started, you know what I mean? Like, I kind of was like, damn, you know what I mean? Like, I'm always super optimistic. I'm a glass half full type guy anyway, all the time. So I didn't think it was going to be this long, you know what I mean? But I know one of the things that definitely perked me up is when the first big one that I tuned into was the RZA versus Primo. And, you know, I just felt like a kid in high school all over again. You feel me? Like, just hearing all them records and shit. So that shit just made me amped up. You know what I mean? Like, you know?
You know what's crazy? I was just talking to Bert about that. I was like, yo, I was super amped up, excited and everything. However, I was just so disappointed with the audio that was happening with RZA.
Oh, yes.
Oh, my God. It had me, like, on the edge of my seat. Like, come on.
I feel like every battle has gotten better progressively in terms of sound. You know, I think they figured it out because, you know, I think the first couple ones were kind of like doing what you and I are doing right now. You know, like you in your place, I'm in my place. I would just plug into my laptop or my phone and you would do the same. I think, you know, as they start to figure it out, they learned to not use iRig, which is one of the things I think they were using, which provided all the feedback. And I mean, you look at the Rick Ross and 2 Chainz and the Snoop and X, and I mean, they're in the studio now. You know what I mean? Apple's a part of it. So, you know, they definitely have stepped it up.
No, they definitely did. Now going back to you, you know, as you mentioned, from the panel, after that, how was that transitioning going from entrepreneurship to the labels?
It was actually a great segue for me because I had went from, I spent half my career in like the entrepreneurship space, if you know, come to think about it, even though, you know, I was an employee, but like working for companies like Violator, you know what I mean? You know, management, working for companies like Family Tree Management, which, you know, if people aren't familiar with that, they should be. Michael Blue Williams, you know what I mean? He's one of my mentors, you know, and we had Outkast, Jagged Edge, you know, Casey and JoJo, Macy Gray. Yeah, it was a lot of, you know, Pharoah Monch. That's how I started working with Pharoah. But, you know, but to your point, it was a good segue for me because I was coming off of managing, you know, doing my own thing, working with artists like 14 Trap Doors. I was working with this group out of Moscow called Tesla Boy. So it really just helped me make a great transition to go from there to getting into E1, which was also independent. You know, so it kind of was like it continued my day-to-day and things of that nature, you know?
Yeah. You know, like looking at your, you know, your background, obviously you've worn many hats. Out of all the hats you have worn, which position you would say gave you a challenge?
That's a good question. You know, artist management, I don't want to say it's a challenge because, you know, it's one of those things where, you know, you have to enjoy it to do it. But, you know, it's definitely something that, you know, it's a lot of different phases of that. You know what I mean? Like, you know, because not only are you dealing with the artists and whatever, you know, quirks that they have or whatever personalities that they have, you know, especially if it's more than one. You know what I mean? Like, you know, group I manage, you know, one of the groups I manage now is 3 of those guys. You know what I mean? And so, you know, they all have the same type of lifestyle, but they're very different personalities. But so not only are you managing personalities and you're managing expectations, but then you're also dealing with external things. Now, I mean, so like, you know, artists don't understand. They should be really grateful when you have a good manager. And I'm not just saying this about me. I'm just saying about any artist manager or any person who's down with you, in the trench with you and helping you trying to further your career. The artists don't really understand how many arrows that the management take for them. You know what I mean? Because, you know, we shield them from those losses. You know what I mean? Like, we shield them from that negativity. We shield them from those L's, you know, as people would say. And it's not even an L, like, you know, because you got to have Teflon skin to be in this business anyway, because you're going to hear no, you know, 100 more times than you hear yes. But, you know, that could be very deflating for a creative person. You and I are creative. You know how it is. Like, you're going to do what you got to do. I mean, that's why you're doing what you do now. So you're going to do what you got to do no matter what. But it still is a thing where it's like, damn, you know, when you was all built up to do something, you keep hearing no. It just chops you down. So you just have to continue to kind of every day fill yourself back up. So it's challenging from that standpoint. It's like, okay, not only am I dealing with the actual group and managing their expectations and trying to get things done, but also just dealing with the outside world in terms of trying to get people to, you know, in the words of EPMD, listen to my demo. You know what I mean? Like, I mean, to, you know, listen to the music, you know, check it out. Let me know what you think. And let me, you know, you get what I'm saying? You know, it's the pitch. It's the elevator pitch. It's the constant salesman. But, you know, it's also very satisfying, man, and gratifying that when something break through, that you can see it like kind of rise through the concrete. You know what I mean? Like, you could see, you know, the day one interaction people doing with things and stuff like that. So, you know, it goes hand in hand, but definitely
it definitely does. I think a lot of people or artists do not understand as well. Maybe you can explain that a little bit more. An artist manager is not your investor as well.
No.
And that's
no, not at all. Yes. No, listen, I'm glad that's a great transition and segue, because, you know, when I used to work with a lot more artists, you know, a couple years back, I used to always tell them, like, yo, listen, if you're not serious about this if you're not investing in yourself. You know what I mean? Like, you're not, like, you can't expect people, you know, I can believe in you all day. You know what I mean? And, you know, and I can work with you on certain things, but I'm not going to do this for you. You know what I mean? So, you know, I'm just super passionate that I feel like sometimes that bled through, where I actually had somebody tell me before, what artists I was working with back in the day, like, damn, I wish you was the artist. You know what I mean? Like, because you're just so, you know, passionate about everything. And, you know, that feels good, but it's like, I don't rap no more. I used to rap, but I ain't trying to rap and do none of that shit. You know what I mean? I salute any artist who get on stage and perform. I don't give a fuck what type of music you make. Excuse my French, but I don't care if people think you're whack. Yo, performing and doing it in front of an audience is not an easy thing. You know what I mean? Like, so that takes a certain level of confidence in and of itself. But yeah, no, I mean, you know, we're not a bank. You know what I mean? We're not, you know, now if we're partners and we busting everything down 50-50, okay, then let's do that. You get what I'm saying? But like, no, I'm here to help you further your career. I'm not here to, you know, pay for studio time and, you know what I mean? And stuff like that. Like, you know, that has to be prearranged, and that has to be some type of, you know,
agreement?
Quid pro quo. Yeah, agreement. You know what I mean? Like, yes.
I mean, like, it's definitely something that just, I feel like with me, I've been trying to, like, you know, like, teach certain artists, like, because they come to me and they're like, you know, I guess they feel like with me, they'd be like, yo, V, manage me. First of all, like, I agree with you. You need to have a passion and, like, being an artist management. I've done it. I would not do it again. It's a lot of work. It's a lot of work. It's a lot of work. It's very intense. You know, and I feel like it's something you have to emotionally be there as well, invested. So, and then also, like, for those who are the managers, you know, they're not a bank, you know, so you have to understand that.
And then not only that, to your point, it's like, they have to understand that we don't eat until you eat.
Exactly.
You know what I mean? Like, some of them, I mean, you know, they get it, but I don't think some of them get it, that you have to explain that to them. You know what I mean? Like, hey, bro, like, you know, I don't make money until you do. So where's your, you know, what are you doing? Like, what are we doing? What's the end goal? What's the short and long-term goal? Like, what do you see? What's the process? What do you see yourself in 3, 6, 12, 18 months? You know, like, where are you trying to go with this thing? You know, and it's a lot more than just, oh, I work and I'm in the studio recording. Cause that's another thing too. That was 10 years ago. You know what I mean? Like, yeah, you know, I'm constantly working. I'm constantly making music. Okay. I respect that, because you need to have content. Content is king. But at the same time, what else are you doing? You know what I mean? Because if there's no social or digital plan to accompany the music, you know what I mean, plan, what are we doing? You know what I mean? Because that's where the audience is. The audience is online. The audience is here. You know what I mean? Like, they're in our pocket. You know what I mean? So how are you interacting with them?
I think, people don't realize how digital marketing and commerce is such a key component. You understand? Like, I do have a question, and I don't know if this sounds like a dumb question or not, but to my understanding, digital marketing is different from e-commerce.
Correct. It's basically, so commerce, so in e-commerce is different from commerce. Well, it's kind of the same. Okay. You know, e-commerce is just the process of pretty much getting the album, you know, like distributing the album. You know what I mean? So like getting the album from like soup to nuts, from creating it to getting it to the actual, you know, digital stores or platforms so people can buy and consume the album. You know what I mean? So like, you make it, you know, you make the album, we ingest it for you, we get it to, you know, the Walmarts and the Targets of the world and the Apple Music of the world and stuff like that. You know, so that's, you know, that's one part of e-commerce. It's also like the metadata portion of it, making sure all the information is correct. So when we upload the album, you know, that your name and, you know, all your credit information and all that type of stuff is spelled correctly and you know, and just distributed correctly, so people are paid right. Because, you know, that can mess up your money. You know what I mean? Like, seriously, like them just having, you know, 2 or 3 Dre Howards in their system and not having, you know, the stuff accredited to the right one. But commerce is just a fancy term that we use now for playlist pitching. That's all that means. So I mean, like, so that means you're just dealing with Spotify, Apple Music, YouTube Music, Pandora, you know what I mean? And you're pitching records to editors. You know what I mean? You're pitching records to account managers over there, you know, because every one of these DSPs have their own internal team who deals with both major and independent labels. So, you know, you're just pitching records. You know what I mean? Like, you're just like, hey, you know, you know, I would say it's, you know, everyone once you go through a portal, which is, hey, you know, upload the record here and we'll check it out. You know what I mean? But you know how that go. You know, it's all, everything is relationship based. So if I know you and you work at, you know what I mean, Amazon Music, and I'm like, V, check this out. You know what I mean? Like, let me know what you think. I'm not asking for, you know how it go. I don't wanna, get too deep down that. No,
I definitely.
There's a protocol to it. You know what I mean? So I don't want people to think like, you know, like you can kind of cut corners, because you can't. And you know what I mean? And also too, relationships matter, but you know, it's all about the right fit. You know, because everybody wants to be on or in Rap Caviar, right? When you start talking to a rapper, they all want to be on Spotify, Rap Caviar. You know what I mean? Like, that ain't how it works. You know what I mean? Like, I always like to tell rappers to look at Rap Caviar like being on Hot 97. You know what I mean? That's the pinnacle. That's the pinnacle of rap playlists, you know, for the DSPs. Like that, and Rap Life is starting to come up too, which is Apple Music's big rap playlist. So it's like, you know, to get there, you got to have a lot of other things going on. They're not just going to just place your music in Rap Caviar because, you know what I mean? Like, you have to have some sort of buzz. You know what I mean?
Gotcha. You know what's crazy? I just had this conversation with a DJ, and he had mentioned, you know what? He had mentioned to me, he goes like, yo, V, you know what gets me upset is that these artists think that they, you know, record, put the music out there, and then place it on Instagram, and that's it.
I know. It's, you know, that's very true. You know, like, people have to understand, man, like, making the music that's just the beginning. You know what I mean? Like, because it's like, now you have to market and promote it. So what's your plan? You know, even if it's only like a 2 to 3 week plan of promoting the record, because, you know, again, we're in a time now where people's attention span is just super short.
Short, yeah.
You know, and this is why you know, this is why we've gone from Vine to TikTok to now Instagram Reels. You know, people want what we call snackable size content. So, you know, the average, if something over like what they say, TikTok was like what, 15 seconds, right?
15 seconds, I believe, to a minute, I believe.
Yeah, to a minute, yeah. Right? So the good ones know, or you know, the big ones know that, you know, they know to do it like 15 seconds. So they say if it over indexes, that means people watching it 17, 18 seconds, which means people have watched it twice.
Okay.
You know what I mean? So, you know, like you really need to make the content really, really short, or because if it's on IG, you know, just because it's 59 seconds, you're allowed to upload something. Don't make it that long. You know, I always tell people that because people are just going to scroll through if it's not something compelling, you know?
Now, I know, like with me, I feel like personalized content marketing is a dope strategy. When it comes to like the interest and preference of the target audience. What's your intake on that? And what's another strategy you can recommend?
Personalized content. Can you give me a little bit more? Like, what do you?
So like when I say personalized content, like you create your content, but you're personalizing it as far as like it's not just like ads. You're reaching out to like those personally and putting it out there as well.
Okay, yes. I mean, listen, that definitely goes a long way. Like being able to, you know, kind of put that personal touch on it. It gives the fan or the consumer, you know, a little bit more intimacy in terms of making it feel like, you know, you are reaching out to them as opposed to like, you know, just kind of cold spreading, you know, en masse, putting out content. So I agree with you. That is a good way to do it. There's definitely ways to go about doing that. You know, you can use things like Community. Now it's a phone app and it gives out your number, but you can like personalize it to like just reach out to certain people, send them certain places, you know, at any given time. Like, you know, a lot of different celebs use it too. A lot of different artists, they use it. You know, it's a lot. I agree with you though. I mean, it's a lot of different methods to go about doing personalized content.
Okay.
Like, you know, you can do stuff on IG, you can do stuff on Snapchat, you can do stuff on TikTok. You know, I think truth be told, you should have a digital plan that encompasses all those type of platforms in some way, shape, or form, even if you don't necessarily make music that might be consumed on those platforms. Because if you notice, like, you know, it's a certain type of algorithm or music that hits on TikTok, you know what I mean? Like, and then you got different type of influencers who can use that content, or you can have personalized the content depending on how you're trying to market it, right? So you can have like the Charlie, D'Amelios of the world, you know, which is the young girl on TikTok, you know, and she's like a dancer. I think she has like 80 million followers, you know what I mean? So like, you know, if she posts your song and she's doing a dance to your song, you know, that can get, you know, millions of impressions, right?
Okay.
But then they also nowadays, you know, they have the comedic, you know, person on TikTok.
Yes.
You know, they have the lifestyle person on TikTok. You know, so it's just about filling out where you think your music, you know, would impact the audience the best.
Okay.
Because, you know, you might be a rapper who don't make those type of songs that people can make a dance to or a challenge to, you know?
Do you think, now I want to know like your intake, like what if, because you know the whole like Trump trying to ban TikTok, if that does happen, what do you think would be like the next platform to like boom?
I just had this conversation last night.
Because I know Instagram has Reels, but
Instagram. I mean, listen, it's not the same. And I said something similar last night.
Okay.
And my friend, they were just like, well, everyone thought the same when they introduced stories, that it was copying off of Snapchat.
True.
And now look at stories. So,
True.
You know what I mean? So I don't know. I mean, don't get me talking about the TikTok things. I think that's just a play to kind of debo them out of their company, you know, and get the U.S. to take over it. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
You know, the bigger question is, what are people going to do in general if they can't make TikToks? What are all these faux influencers going to do? You know what I mean? Like, you know, just because you got, you know, 5-10 million followers, you know what I mean? But, you know, that's another question. I sound like a hater talk about that.
You're always saying the same thing. So don't, if you sound like a hater, I sound like a hater. Like,
yeah, like, what are you going to do now? What are you going to do now? But, you know, yeah, I mean, Instagram Reels, Snapchat is still around. You know what I mean? It's still around. It's still very pervasive. I think Twitter is also still around too. You know, and people, and one thing that Twitter has over both of them is that you're allowed to have a lot more quote unquote adult content. You know what I mean? Like, you know, you're censored on Facebook and Instagram. So Twitter, you can put a whole video up cursing and all that type of stuff. And then also OnlyFans. OnlyFans is about to take off for so many different reasons, because I mean, you know, most people are using it for the adult aspect, and it is get it how you live. But I'm also starting to see people go on there, you know, and do other things on it. Like, it's not just about, you know, being, you know, scantily clad, or women, you know, having, you know, being, you know, showing their bodies. Like, I see people are starting to really cake up on it, doing other things. So I want to see where that goes.
You think OnlyFans will be like the next big thing?
I think I don't think it's going anywhere. Like, you know what I mean? Like, I thought it was one of the things like, oh, you know, why somebody gonna pay to see that? You know what I mean? Like, you know, pornography is free. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But it's like, you'd be surprised. You know what I mean? Like, I think anything that disrupts or circumvents the system is going to have an opportunity to grow. And what I mean by it is because if it's a way for you to make money by going directly to the people, then people are going to use that, because they're going to be like, well, shit, why I need this break bread? You know what I mean? Why I need to give you a percentage of this when I'm making the content? I got my own camera and shit here. I'm going to shoot it. I'm going to upload it. Give me the money. You feel me? Like, OnlyFans, they probably take a small percentage. And then, you know, Facebook and Instagram, you know, Facebook, because, you know, Facebook owns Instagram. It owns Snapchat. It owns WhatsApp. So, you know, all those apps are really, really good for communication and, you know, and all this type of stuff. But it's a lot of censoring that goes on with their stuff. Like, I'm pretty sure you try to upload something before and, you know, it didn't get uploaded to Instagram because, you know, he probably told you it was a copyright issue because some of the music or something, you know, that was licensed to Universal or Sony or, you know, Warner, that you couldn't use it. So I feel like, you know, as long as people feel like there's a way around that and doing things, that they'll try to just get at, you know, like, they'll use a platform. You know, I'm looking too. This is why I'm in digital marketing. And, you know, at the same time, man, like, digital marketing is still very, very new, right? It's only been around, you know, let's give it maybe 10 years, right? But then 10 years ago, it was called new media, where it was a mix of PR and marketing. Like, it wasn't what it is now, because you didn't have platforms like you do now. Like, you didn't have Instagram, you know what I mean? You didn't have WhatsApp, you didn't have Snapchat, you didn't have Twitter. So no one's a guru of this space, because it's changing so much.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It's changing. You know what I mean?
Like, that was actually one of my questions, because I'm like, yo, bro, like, how do you keep up with the new trends with digital marketing, because it's constantly changing?
And think about like this, yo, remember about maybe, just remember in general, just remember hip hop blogs, right? Like, you know, online, you know, and you still have some, you know, some blogs with a lot of power, right? Like, you still, you know, Complex was smart, where they built out their whole Complex media group, you know, probably over the last 7-8 years. And they just start partnering up with the Two Dope Boys and, you know, and all these type of different pages, right? So you got Complex, you have Pitchfork, you have Fader, you know, which, you know, I think Pigeons and Planes is a part of Complex, you know, they partnered up with them, right? So they were smart to build this digital conglomerate. But truth be told, the new blog is Instagram, right? When you got pages like Say Cheese and Our Generation Music and Rap Direct, you know, and College Kid, you know what I mean? And academics, that's how people are consuming, you know, the latest news on music. Like, no one's going to read an article anymore. It's you know, it's probably like, you know, a couple sentences about whatever is going on, you know what I mean? And then they're like, hey, you know, V-Henny, she dropped a new record, you know what I mean? Check this out, what y'all think, you know what I mean? And they're going to put a snippet of your record, you know, it'll probably be 3 panels. It'll probably be either a picture of you, your artwork, a snippet of the video or the audio, you know what I mean? Some type of, you know, hashtag about it all, you know what I mean? And then it's just going to be comments, you know what I mean? Oh, this is fire, this fire. You're going to get your bots comment, you know, follow me here, you know what I mean? Or I'm a 16-year-old producer. Tell me what you guys think, you know what I mean? Like, all that type of shit. And then, you know, that's how you get the engagement, because, you know, there are real people in there watching, you know.
You know, let me ask you this. Like, what about, like, because I know you mentioned a digital plan, right?
Mm-hmm.
What can you, or maybe what can you recommend to those who are like on a tight budget and can't, you know, like they're limited to doing an extravagant campaign or something like that. Like, and let's just say a budget of, I'm gonna say from 2,000.
I was about to say that. I just want to say, if you got a budget of 1,000, you can get busy. I would say if you got a budget of 2,000, focus on one, seeing if you can get with a young creative, or, you know, or just creative in general, and create content around your song or visual, right? Meaning like take trailers and teasers. So that's one.
Okay.
Two, you know, like just 15 seconds, 20 seconds, you know, stuff that you can post on Instagram and Facebook. Two, I would say, you know, figure out a way to run ads on Instagram and Facebook. Like, I'm not saying figure out a way, because you can do it. There's a way you can do it. I would say run ads on Facebook, because that's going to target both Facebook and Instagram. And I would say try to run ads on YouTube. You know what I mean? So you can get your video in front of, you know, whatever respective audience or artist that your content, you know what I mean, kind of, you know, you're in the same class or realm.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like run YouTube ads, run Google ads, you know, and then that way, once you start getting back the data and seeing, you know, like, you know, how it works on impressions and who's listening and how long they're listening, you know, then you can know to kind of put money back into, okay, cool, this was working. I'm going to keep doing this. I'm going to keep doing this, you know. And then, you know, you spend money, you make a little bit. You know, you spend money, you do it right, you engage the right people, you might make 1,000 of that back. You know what I mean? Over, you know, the course of a month. But if you're looking at it long tail, you know what I mean? Then you just put that right back into what you're going, because in the very beginning, it's really just about impressions. You just want as much people to see it and hear it as possible. You know what I mean? And then once you get that, then it's about really growing the audience.
You know what's crazy, right? Because YouTube is my university. I learned that the hard way, right? Bert used to always tell me, like, yo, just go on YouTube, go on YouTube. I didn't learn how to utilize YouTube until maybe 4 or 5 years ago, right? But I see when you mentioned the ads, I've seen like certain videos stating don't invest on ads, it's a waste of money. Do you agree?
No, I disagree. You said don't invest in YouTube ads?
Yeah, like I've seen a few videos on YouTube, like and like certain YouTubers, and they're just like, oh, it's a waste of your money. Like, you know, it's not going to put you in front of the right people.
Well, it depends on what you're going for, one. And two, it's really just about, like I said, to me personally, this is just my take. As a new artist, I would tell any new artist, I think YouTube is one of the dopest platforms because you get 3 levels of engagement, right? So, you know, no other DSP offers you the audio, the video, and the social aspect that YouTube gives you, right?
Okay.
Well, Instagram does, but not in a long, you know, in a long form.
Yes.
You know what I mean? Yeah, like a long form that you would get, right? So, you know, because Instagram, you can hear something, you know what I mean? You can watch something and you can interact, you know, with people in a thread. So that's what YouTube does best. You know what I mean? Like, you're going to be able to talk to people real time. You're going to be able to leave messages. You're going to engage with other fans and other consumers, you know, from around the world. You know, so I think YouTube is good for artists just trying to get their stuff out there. You just got to, and it's about knowing, again, it's about optimizing and doing it right. Like, you have to optimize. When you run ads, you have to make sure that the optimization is correct, meaning like you're tagging the records correctly. You know what I mean? Like, you're tagging, you know, the song correctly amongst who you want to target. You know, and what I mean by that is that's just like typing in the right song title or song titles that you want, that people are searching up, you know, V-Henny and Andre, then you might want, you know what I mean? And that you feel like your artist, your music is similar to that, you might want to put that as something that people search for. You get what I'm saying?
Okay. Gotcha.
So, you know, 'cause that, you know what I mean? So it's just, you know, I'm just giving you an example, but you get what I mean. Like, so that matters.
No, it definitely does matter. I feel like marketing in itself, you have to be strategic with it. You understand?
Yes. Yes.
I may be wrong, but I'm a big marketing person. I went to school for it, and everything. And I think that's like one of your number ones on how to create income within your brand when it comes to learning how to market. I guess for me to ask you is like, how, because I know you mentioned like certain like Spotify, like these playlists and stuff like that. Mm-hmm. Is it vital to put your music on these like playlists? And another one would be, so there's two questions. That is it vital? Like, is it a must for you to put these, you know, your music on certain playlists? Or and another one would be like, let's go back to that one because I forgot the other question.
Is it vital? Vital? No, it's not vital.
Okay.
But it becomes a necessity if you want to overall succeed. You know what I mean? Like, because you know, if you and I put a record out tomorrow, it's not going to get on any playlist. You feel me?
Yes.
But what you could do is, you know, you can try to work with third-party playlisters, you know, the legit ones, because it's a lot of, you know what I mean? Like, so now there I will say it's a lot of you know, scamming and stuff like that too.
Yes.
You know, and try to stay away from bots, you know, because you know, some people, they do it and they overdo it. You know what I mean? Like, you know, like you got 2 million fucking streams on a song and no one knows who you are. You know what I mean? Like, that ain't gonna get it. You know what I mean? Like, it looks phony, it looks whack. That ain't gonna help you do what you do. You know what I mean?
Yo, I've seen artists with like thousands, like 50,000, close to 1 million, and I'm looking at their following and everything. I'm like,
it makes no sense. Like, you got 1,000 followers and, you know what I mean, and 2 million streams. You know what I mean? Like, it doesn't add up. You know what I mean? Like, you know, but I would say, no, you know, just to answer your question, like, it's a necessity over time. You know what I mean? Because you do need that exposure to, you know, that ecosystem. You know what I mean? That playlist ecosystem. You know what I mean? Because what it does is algorithmically, like, well, some of them are algorithmically triggered, like Spotify and, you know, and Apple too, I think. But like, some of them like are hand curated, like Tidal and like, you know, Amazon Music. So that'd be like, if you were an editor, that's just you saying, yo, I mess with this cat. You know what I mean? I mess with this artist. So I'm going to put anything that any playlist that I operate, I'm going to give them a shot. You know what I mean? Obviously you're not going to put a, you know, a rap song in an R&B playlist, but if it's something to where like it's amorphous and, you know, it can fit, you know, in different type of things, or it's multi-genre, and you have control of that, you know, and it's hand, you know, like handmade, meaning like a person actually curated, then you're going to give it the opportunity, because it's vital just to introduce, you know, artists to, you know, more fans and more listeners. So over time, yes, I do think it's a necessity. Vital, no. I mean, it's artists who aren't getting in any of those top playlists and who do really, really well.
Okay.
I mean, you could take a group like Flatbush Zombies or something like that. You feel me? Or you know what I mean? Like, I'm pretty sure I can name about 5 other underground rappers, or you know what I mean, underground music that's not getting that quote unquote playlist love. But I guarantee you, if you go look at their monthly streamers, they're all in like, you know, the millions, you know, their monthly listeners. Pardon me.
I'm trying to understand a little bit more with Spotify playlists. I guess my question to you would be this. Is it true, right? Like, if you play, like, let's just say you put a single on like 10 other playlists, right? And then you drop an album and that single is part of your album. Is it true that all those streams that you generated from that single will be placed on the album as well? Correct.
Yes. I mean, if you dropped it, and that goes to, you know what I was talking about, you know, a while back, which is the e-commerce side of things. So, you know, look at a single, every single has its own ISRC code. Right? Okay. So look at, like, you know, the ISRC and a UPC. Like, the UPC is the barcode that you see on the back of an album. You know how when you used to go into a store and they scan it, beep,
yes,
right? No matter what it is, even in a grocery store. So look at the ISRC like the parent and the child. So the UPC is the parent, the ISRC is the child. So every song is a child of that parent. So if your album has 10 songs, you know, and those ISRCs fall under that UPC, wherever, no matter where it's at, you know what I mean? Like no matter what playlist it's on, you know, Spotify, if you have it connected, now that's another thing too. That's what I'm saying, like e-commerce is important. So if you have it connected correctly, as long as it's connected to that UPC and that ISRC, you're going to make money off of it. You know what I mean? Like if it's streaming, you're going to make money off of it. If it's selling, you're going to make money off of it.
Now it makes sense with the whole Party Next Door album, right? Because I felt like for me, the album was good, but I felt like he had music from like 5 years ago on his album, you understand? And I'm just like, and I'm looking at his Spotify numbers and I'm like, my question to I was, at the time, I was just like, yo, why is he putting old music? But then I get it now is to show the numbers that he was, you know, he was moving and making during that time from then to now, you understand? But do you think that's something smart to do? Like, cause he literally grabbed music from like 4 or 5 years ago and put it in his recent project.
I can't speak to that project in particular because I'm not familiar with it, but if from the way you're explaining it, I think it's probably a situation too that he probably put it out as a mixtape. Was it like a mixtape style thing? You know, when it first came out 5 years ago?
I mean, like the song in itself, like certain songs that he had were like with Drake and stuff like that. He put it out as a single, but the album that he released, I'm gonna say he released this album, and I don't know if it's not for me. It's not mixtape material. He put it out like maybe I think like the beginning of the pandemic, if I'm correct. I gotta definitely look at the info for that.
I would have to see because it just sounds to me what it sounds like is that it might have been content that, like you said, it either was only released as a single, never as a part of a project, or that it was things that he probably put out. That when I say mixtape style, that mean that it never was up for retail. Like, you know, like they never had put it out at all. So he probably just, you know, wanted to probably add it to, you know, this new project that just came out, even though the song was, like you said, maybe 3 or 4 years old. They just put it with the new album, so it's a part of that, and you know, something like that. You know, I would have to look into it because I'm not familiar with it. Okay.
So like now, because I just feel like a lot of people don't understand the concept of, they know I feel like people understand the basic of, and that's certain people, like they understand the basic of digital marketing. So maybe you could explain to those that they're putting the basic in as far as like, let's just say the Instagram, the TikToks, but what more is part of this whole component when it comes to the component of digital marketing?
I think it's really just having an overall plan. Like you said, you know, if you went to school for marketing, you know, it's just about having like, so you're working in conjunction with that, having your marketing plan, and then having some sort of plan about how to engage and grow your online audience. You know what I mean? Like that's really what digital is all about. You know what I mean? Like, you know, just in growing your own. So if you want to take it overseas, then you need to kind of figure it out, international that is. You need to just kind of figure out and see, one, who do you want to target? You know, like where overseas? You know, like, you know, if you're targeting Europe, if you're targeting, you know, I don't know, you know, Africa, you know, something like that. It's just about where you want to target, you know.
I think it's like you just mentioned, and it's so key. It's so key when it comes to digital marketing. Interaction is really big for me. When I'm looking through artists, new artists that I'm trying to build with and etc. And I've seen artists with big numbers, right? As far as views, but no interactions. And it's like,
that happens to, you know, that can be a combination of sometime, you know, advertising, you know, and just figuring it out. Like, and what I mean by it is like, cause that's real. The thing about, again, let me just explain this to people. So when they run ads and they do see stuff like yours, so people won't be discouraged. Unless you know exactly how you want to go about targeting and reaching your audience and your consumer, right? or you just trying to scatter shot and hit mass so you can just get as many views as possible. So it works both ways. So like if you're really like, yo, I just really want to focus on getting people to engage and comment and like, you know what I mean, whatever I got going on. So it might cost you a little bit more. Now, I mean, you might get less views, but you might have more engagement, right?
Okay.
Because you can run ads, just again, it kind of loops in your second question you just asked me, because you can run ads internationally. You know what I mean? Like, so like especially on YouTube. So like you can have your video running ads and it'll run in Brazil and Colombia and Chile. You know what I mean? Like literally internationally, like India, you know, so all these are real views. They're not bought, you know what I mean? Like they're not bots or you know what I mean? It's just that people probably watch it, you know, because another thing too, you'll see the information to show you how long someone's watched your video, right? You know,
yes,
which we call that a click-through rate. So you'll see, you know, how long people are actually, you know, engaging, you know, or watching. So sometimes, you know, for every, I don't know, I'm just kind of throwing a number out there, but so let's say for every 1,000 views, you know, you may get 10 likes and 2 comments. And if you have 400,000 or 500,000 views, you know what I mean? And you only have like, you know, at the end of the time, at the end of the campaign, you may only have like 20 comments, you know what I mean? You know, 2,000 likes or some shit like that. It can look funny, but it's all real. Or you can say, I'm going to figure out, not even figure out, but like, I don't want to do the worldwide thing. I want to focus on the US, you know, I want to focus on these markets, this age, you know, this age group. And then, you know, you spend that 500, 1,000, 2,000, and you run the campaign for, I don't know, 7, 10, 14 days, right? There might be something where the views might only be 50,000, right? But you might have 5,000 likes and 100 comments. You know what I mean? So it's just really about the impressions you're trying to get and trying to create and how you're trying to, you know, the angle at which you want to position and attack your, you know, your audience with. Like if you just like, yo, I just want everybody to see it. You know what I mean? Because I figure, you know, if people see it, then they'll engage. And, you know, because they always say, what's the term I heard? Like in terms of impressions, it takes people 7 times to see something before they actually engage with it. You know what I mean? So
7? I thought it was less, but okay.
Yeah,
I thought it was like 3 or 4 times. But but that's network marketing.
Either way it go. Exactly. But, you know what I'm saying? But either way, you know, it takes, you have to keep seeing it, right? So you know, it just depends, you know.
Yeah, I mean, that's, again, I was like with network marketing, where it's like they had stored in our minds, like, which it makes sense, but it was just like, if you show them the 4th time, it's really rare that you get that no. You understand? So it's like, I could, with them, like I guess this is why they constantly drilling certain particular songs, because you know how many songs, bro, I'm not a big fan of, and yet I'm singing it. Like
it happens. It happens. I mean, think about it too, when you're on Instagram, right? And you start to see all those sponsored ads. Like you're scrolling through and then you see the same sponsored ads. Like I know right now, and I'm probably gonna end up copping something anyway because I love the album, but like the Nas campaign, I gotta give it up to whoever running it from Mass Appeal, whoever running this campaign about, you know, for his merch and all this stuff for the King Disease album, because I feel like I'm seeing so many Nas sponsored ads, you know, in terms of buying merch like T-shirts, you know, and they're doing digital bundles too. So like if you buy a hoodie or T-shirt or, you know, or something, you get to download the album too. You know what I mean? Which probably gonna go towards first week sales. That's probably why they're running it so heavy too. But you know, I'm seeing it a lot, so I'm like, man, let me cop this damn T-shirt. I done seen it so much. And I like the artwork too, and the album is fire. It's an adult. He made an adult rap album.
I gotta listen to it. I gotta listen to it.
You should check it out, man. You should check it out, and then you gotta remember, you know.
I only heard like the first 3 songs. I'm gonna keep it above. And it's funny because Bert was like, "Yo, did you hear the album?" And I was like, "I did." I was like, "But I gotta listen to it because
listen to it. You know what I mean?
I feel like Nas just say the same thing over and over, but I'm gonna take a listen to it, and I'm gonna hit you and Bert up, and I'll give you my feedback on that. Like,
yeah. No. You definitely check it out. You know what I mean? I feel like, you know, like him, Jay, you know, it's a couple people out there. You know, some of the elders, you know, elder statesmen in the culture. They've been making adult rap. You know what I mean? Like, it's good to see adult contemporary rap. You know what I mean? To where, you know, like he's not trying to do what Migos or Cardi or somebody else does. You feel me? Like,
he's staying true to himself.
He's staying true to himself, and he's showing the fact that he is a 45, 46-year-old man, you know what I mean, who's still, you know, supremely talented. He's definitely, you know, he's on a Mount Rushmore, you know what I mean? Like, if it's 4 rappers, you know what I mean? Like, Nas is in that conversation, you know, of greatest of all time. So he just made this album, to me, you know, I guess too, because where I'm at in my life, it appeals to me. You know what I mean? Like, now, don't get me wrong. I listen to everything. You know what I mean? Like, I you know, I don't have an opinion on music too much anymore. You know what I mean? Because for that very reason, like, there's never going to be another Nas. So I'm not trying to look for another Nas. I'll appreciate Kendrick and Cole and Drake for who they are. I'm not going to compare it to Hov or Nas. You know what I mean? Like, there's never going to be another Outkast or Ice Cube or LL. So once I flipped that switch for me, you know what I mean, it made it easier for me to digest and understand, you know, and just let, you know, people be who they are. Because, you know, we all do that. You know what I mean? We all like, yo, he trying to be like Hov. You know what I mean? This cat think, you know what I mean? They think they so-and-so. But once you just be like, yo, there ain't gonna never be another Hov. That's one of one. You know what I mean?
That's a fact.
One of one. It's only one Snoop.
I saw
you know
somebody who posted, what's his name? Oh my God. Lil Baby is the next Tupac.
Who? Come on, now you trying to pull me out of character. I just talked all this righteousness shit.
But what I respect about Lil Baby was that Lil Baby, he stated, I am, like you just mentioned, I am my own entity.
Yeah. I think I saw one similar when I said he's the next Lil Wayne or some shit like that, but that ain't it either. You know what I mean? Like, Lil Baby, I'm, you know, respect, keep doing your thing, young black man, but you ain't either one of them. You know what I mean? Like,
but
that's one. Both of Pac. Don't get me started about Pac. Yeah. That's my favorite of all time. I think he's the greatest rapper of all time.
Okay.
Some people watch this like, you bugging. You really listen. I said greatest. I didn't say the best.
Okay.
I mean, because to me, it's a difference. Now, I mean, I don't think he's, you know, the most lyrical. He's not Rakim. He's not Black Thought. You know what I mean? He's not Hov and Nas. But his message, you know what I mean, and what he stood for, to me, sometimes some things, it transcends that. You know, Pac is the greatest to me. You know what I mean? Like, you know, but Lil Baby, he's so new in the game. So I would never even, that's a disservice to him, comparing him to, you know what I mean, to Tupac and comparing him to Lil Wayne. You know what I mean? Because they put in so much work. You're talking about artists who put in so much work. You know what I mean? Like, you know, that's another thing, man. You know, like, I would implore any artist to really, if you want to get in this game, like, understand, like, it has to be a labor of love. It goes back to what, I guess, what we started with. Like, you got to understand, like, this thing of ours, you know what I mean? Like, it's you know, we've seen a lot of people get in and get rich, you know what I mean? And get in and get on and kind of have a, you know, because anybody can have a moment nowadays. That's the one thing about, you know, social media. It helps with, you know, virality. You know what I mean? It helps with going viral. You can have a viral moment, right? And the next thing you know, your song is the hottest thing on TikTok and you're getting a record deal because of it.
Yes.
You know what I mean? Like, I heard some rap cat got a deal, man. He rhymed his whole voice sound like he inhaling helium. Did you hear this cat?
Nah, who? Do you know his name?
I don't know. Nah.
You know what it is?
I know his name, but I'm staying in pocket.
Okay,
right?
gotcha. Nah, but off air, you're gonna tell me this because
I'm like, yo, what the fuck is going on? But you know,
I mean,
they know that they know that's the moment. Like, you know, nobody's gonna be listening to that by Christmas time. You know what I'm saying? So it is what it is, man. But you know, you got to understand too, if you're really trying to be these people that we're talking about right now, and Lil Baby is on his way, you feel me?
Yes.
But I'm not going to do him a disservice and say he's there. But if you're trying to be in that pantheon of the greats, you got to put the work in.
Yeah.
There's no shortcuts.
Yo, bro, I was just talking about this earlier, my earlier segment, where I'm like, yo, you know the work that we had to put in this industry to get the recognition. Yeah. And we're not even where we. For me, I feel like I'm gonna speak for myself.
Same.
I'm not where I want to be. You understand? Like
same. I'm grateful. I'm you know what I mean. I'm grateful. I'm thankful for the opportunities that I have. You know what I mean. And you know, and again, I would kind of contribute that to having a work ethic and passion for what I do. But you know, to your, like I got bigger dreams. You feel me? Like. This is only the beginning. You know what I mean? Like, again, I told you I'm a glass half full type dude. So I want more. That's the best way to put it. So I would tell you, V, I would tell you, don't even say you ain't where you want to be. You just want more.
Oh, yeah.
You know what I mean?
I know that for a fact.
Yeah.
What's more for you? I want to know what's more.
Oh, man. I want a brownstone in Harlem. Not even, but
I want a loft in the city.
Yeah, you know what I mean?
And that's one of my house, like one of the houses I'm planning on owning.
Exactly.
You understand? Like,
you know, I want to be the president of a label. You feel me? Like, okay. I'm going to continue to have my thing. You know what I mean? Like in terms of, being an entrepreneur, and partnering up with the label. You know what I mean? Like, so it's so much more that I want to accomplish. I want to continue. I want to give. People of color an opportunity, that I didn't have. And I ain't saying I didn't have opportunity to get in the game. I just mean like, that's one of these things, these initiatives that we're working on, with like the show must be paused and, and the women who set that up. And, they've been having, all these different town hall meetings and group chats and stuff like that. And, we're just coming up with different ways to try to figure out to take back to these labels about, doing right by people of color. Because that's one thing they can't deny right now. You can't deny that, it's black music. We're propping up streaming. Go look at the top 100 songs on Billboard, or or anything streaming. I guarantee you, 80 of them is rap music, or some type of R&B or something. You know what I mean? 80 of them, right? So I want to be able to, if it's a cat from, Harlem or Buffalo or Chicago. Or more importantly, that went to an HBCU. I mean, that went to a black college. We need to start recruiting there more. You know what I mean? Like, I know, when I worked at Republic, it felt like, all the people that they got always came from Northeastern. You know what I mean? All the interns were always from Northeastern. I'm like, man, you gonna tell me there ain't nobody from City College? You know what I mean? Or, or BMCC right here in the city that we couldn't have got to do this? You know what I mean? Or, so,
But do you think, is that the label's fault or our fault?
Nah, it's that's a good question. But I'm gonna put 80% on the label and 20% on. I'm gonna put 20. The only reason I say I put the other 20% because when I got in this business is because, again, people are gonna take away certain things from me. It's all about passion and labor of love, right? I seek this out. You know what I mean? Like, I did the math and had to go figure out how can I get an internship with a label and all that type of stuff. If we're not in the places, in certain schools or around, or positioning ourselves to kids that know that these are possible avenues, they're not going to pursue it. You know what I mean? Think about it. Everyone always wants to be the talent. They don't understand that they can be like you and be behind a microphone. They can be behind the scenes like me in an office working at a label. That you can work in production, that you can work in marketing, you can work in A&R. That's another thing too. Everybody wants to be A&R or an artist. But, A&R is still a valuable job because you're the ones finding the talent. You know what I mean? But, they need to understand there's more avenues to work around and in music than just doing those things. You know what I mean? Like, there's sales. You know what I mean? Like, there's production. You know what I mean? There's promotion. There's radio, which is, radio's falling by the wayside, but that's a different story.
It is. They're trying. They're trying.
They're trying. But truth be told, I could be wrong. So who knows? But I don't know. Streaming is not going anywhere.
Okay.
And how these, and how people consume content, radio just doesn't matter. Like, Tyler the Creator won a Grammy. You know what I mean?
Know.
Tyler the Creator has 5 albums. Every one of them. He's gotten better in sales every time he's put out an album, right? You don't hear Tyler Creator on radio. You know what I mean?
No.
His fans don't care about, they don't give a damn about that.
No.
They don't give a damn about that. You don't hear Little Uzi Vert may have a radio record 1 out of every 5 records he put out, right? His fans don't care about that. So, you know.
I mean, I agree with you. I definitely do. And that's where I came in with saying personalizing, and also you mentioned something, merch. People don't realize how important merch is as well when it comes to creating your brand. I wanted to ask you this, was that
and just to interject, sorry to interrupt.
Go ahead.
Talking about merch, I want to give a shout out to, you know, the hometown cats, because I'm from Buffalo originally. You know what I mean? I've been in New York City a long time, but I want to give a shout out to some hometown cats who kill them with that merch, and that's the Griselda crew, Griselda Records, West Side Gun, Conway, Benny the Butcher. That brand is so strong globally now. You feel me? That, you know, everyone knows who Griselda is. They know when they see, you know, GXFR. You know what I mean? Like Griselda by Fashion Rebels. Like they killing them with the merch, killing them. You know what I mean? Killing them. You know what I mean? They're selling music. You know what I mean? Like they're selling CDs. They're selling vinyl. You know what I mean? And they're doing it independently. So merch is important. Once you establish a brand, you know, you can't just come in the game and think you're going to sell 3,000 t-shirts and no one knows who you are. You know what I mean? Unless you're going hand in hand on some FUBU shit, you know, in the beginning. But, you know, you establish a strong brand, people are going to support the brand. Yeah.
No, I definitely agree with that. I want to know, you don't have to give me obviously the full details, but how do you go about the process of starting just a whole campaign?
But a digital campaign?
Yeah, digital campaign.
I mean, it starts with your objectives, right?
Okay.
So you know, like that's how any type of marketing thing, like what are you trying to do? Who are you trying to reach and how are you trying to reach them, right? Then you have to figure out ways to figure out how are you going to penetrate the market with your art or your music. So you got to have some sort of plan about getting the content to the DSPs, the digital streaming platforms, right? So Spotify, Apple, you know, whatever. So if you're independent, I don't know, you might use a TuneCore or, you know, or United Masters, you know what I mean? You know, or ADA or, you know what I mean? Or Empire, something like that, right? And then, you know, then from there, you start to break down, all right, how long do you want your campaign to run, right? The attention span, like think about it. Marketing campaigns back in the day used to be like a couple months. But, you know, if you just have a single that you're trying to do or an EP, you might only want to do it a couple weeks. You might want to do it maybe, I don't know, you know, anywhere from 2 to 4 or 6 weeks. And then that comes down to, what's my Instagram? How am I going to market and promote on Instagram? Who am I going to target? Am I going to partner up with influencers, you know, to position my content, you know, like that? You know, same with, you know, you may want to do something on TikTok. You may want to do something on Spotify. On Snapchat, because you can run ads on those platforms as well. You want to make sure that you have enough content to stagger out over the life of the campaign to continuously, you know, kind of post things, you know, daily. You know what I mean? Like, especially if you run the ads, because it's not just about putting the music up and letting that be that. Like, you know, we talked about a minute ago, frequency. People got to continue to see that the record is out. You know, you can't be an artist and be on some too cool for school shit. Like, you have to be engaged in these platforms. So you have to use Instagram. You have to use Facebook. You need to be using Triller. You need to be using TikTok, you know what I mean? And stuff like that. Like, anyone who tells you, sometimes you'll have artists be like, well, The Weeknd didn't do it. And you got to laugh. Like, what, motherfucker, you comparing yourself to The Weeknd? You feel me? Like, fuck is you talking about? You know what I mean? Like people really say goofy shit like that. You know
they
are.
Like,
yeah, but my thing, you know what I don't even try to, you know, sun people, not even sub. I don't even try to like knock people like that no more. I just instead of trying to tell them like that, I just give them the better alternative or better example. I say, bruh, if Drake can post on Instagram, you know, once a day or twice a day, who are you to think you can? He's the biggest rapper, you know, because, you know, oh, Kendrick don't. You stop talking about somebody who's made it. You feel me? He's not doing it now. You know what I mean? But you can go back and find tweets that him and J. Cole and all these people did 5, 6, 7 years ago when they were on the grind. You know what I mean? Thanking their fans for being the first 200 to follow them on Twitter. You know what I mean? Like, I know you've seen them type of stuff like, oh, you know, I only got 200 fans, but thank you all. Now they got 200 million fans. You feel me? So don't do that. Like, just look at it. You have to look at it like, yo, if Ariana Grande can be on Instagram, then who are you to think you shouldn't be? You know what I mean? Like, that's not how this thing works. You trying to grow your audience, you ain't got no money, and you try to bypass, you know, where the audience is. So you have to figure out, you know, just to go back to the plan, you have to figure out how are you going to engage during that timeline, right? And then, you know, you have to figure out doing some user-generated things. And what I mean by that is that's where that's where it takes real research to find out what's real and what's not in terms of doing third-party playlisting on platforms like Spotify, platforms like YouTube. You know what I mean? Seeing where you can get your videos posted, you know what I mean, and stuff like that. Because it's still pages out there on YouTube and stuff like that. Like, that was a real big hustle that I did, you know, when I was doing it independently like 2-3 years ago. Like, it's different pages out there where you can go, you know, you may pay them, you know, a couple dollars, you know what I mean? And they'll place the video on their page, you know, and now it splits the views because it's not, obviously you want everybody to come to your page and see your video, but you know, sometimes being on them pages is going to get you more views than being on your page anyway. So, you know what I mean? That might get you 30,000 views being on one of them pages where, you know, you go to your main page, you may only have 5. So, you know, it's just about just having like a real type of course of action to say, okay, I'm going to spend X amount of dollars with user generated stuff. And then you figure it out. You know what I mean? Like, and I hate to talk in like generalities or, you know, cliches like, oh, you know, you do this and you grind it out, but it's trial and error, because there is no, even me as a VP of digital marketing, there's no one right way to do this. Okay. You get what I'm saying? So like, you know, like just because I'm telling you this way, somebody may go and put out a record on some Lil Nas X shit and it takes off, you know what I mean? And they didn't do any of what I just said. You get what I mean? I mean, but he did do it through TikTok. But you get what I'm saying? So
no, I get what you're saying.
Even if you want to focus on just one platform, even if you, like, if you really want to be on, you know, let's, okay, cool. I'm all about creating videos. Then focus your efforts on YouTube. You know what I mean? Because it will permeate. People will jump off that platform and start following you. Like, if they really like what you're doing, they will start streaming your music. Now, I mean, it will go from Apple Music. It will go from YouTube to Apple Music or YouTube to Spotify, you know?
I agree.
Big up to...
Yeah.
No.
Not big up to who?
No. I gotta be impartial. I almost jumped out the window there.
No, I want to definitely, like, I agree with you with that. I agree with the fact that, especially for your you know, for my musicians, my artists, hip hop, especially, like, I always tell artists, like, yo, bro, learn your target audience. Learn the business to this, because once you learn to once you learn your numbers, once you learn your statistics on who is listening to your music, from from like from the sex to the age to the location.
Yes, sir.
Yo,
sure.
You can go far. I do believe that there is a formula, but like you said,
it's a formula in terms of once
things constantly change.
Yes, things constantly change. It's a formula in terms of figuring out once you know who your audience is, right? So, like, I was on the phone with a manager, you know, yesterday. He has an artist who, you know, is from the Midwest and does extremely well in the Midwest. I'm talking about, you know, millions and millions of streams, right? You know, like on Apple, you know, this cat got records with like Uzi Vert, you know what I mean? He has records with like, you know, YB and Namir and all that stuff. But, you know, he was very clear about, you know, we want to make sure that we don't, you know, alienate, because we, you know, I'm helping them, working with them in this this animator do a dope animated video for them. And he was like, yo, we just don't want to make sure that we alienate our audience. You know what I mean? Like, you know, and we're Midwest, you feel me? Like, you know, we're Chicago and they want to see this type of aesthetic. You know what I mean? Like they want a street aesthetic, like, because the video that, you know, that we worked on, the guy, let me say we worked on, that, you know, the animator worked on, you know, it's dope. It has a dope aesthetic. It has a dope concept to it.
Okay.
Right. And, you know, and it's one of those things that would make you watch it, you know what I mean? Even if you didn't like the song, you feel me? Like, oh, this is interesting, which probably, you know, and think about how many times you've seen something that made you like the song because you liked the video.
Yeah.
But, you know, with the management, he was very succinct in saying, yo, this is dope, but change some things because, you know, we don't want to lose our core audience. And, you know, and we both understood that. I was like, I get that. You know, because I was thinking about it from in terms of growth, in terms of, okay, who's going to see this and be like, I never heard this artist before, but I'm going to check out more of his stuff because I like this video. But, you know,
okay,
you know what I mean? It's one of those things where you're right. It's a formula. Once you figure out, you know, where your bread is buttered, then you just go hard on that, especially if you're eating and you're not fussed with anything else. You know what I mean? It's like, well, shit, this is where I'm at. This is what I do well at. I'm going to stick to this. Ain't nothing wrong with that.
No, you're definitely right. That's what I'm saying. Like, again, like, just know your audience. I stay telling artists this. But you know what? I mean, we've been in this game for a minute. Dre, you already know this.
Yeah.
They listen. It's like a 20%.
20% retention, right?
Yo, I don't get it. But, you know, because, like, when it comes to, like, let's just say me, when it comes to my work, whatever, you know, like, my mentors, when they're, like, telling me, like, yo, V, don't get me wrong, I am hard-headed. Mm-hmm. And they've told me, like, yo, do this, this, this. And I'm like, years later, I'm like, yo, I should have done that. And they're like, I told you. So I have my moments as well. But I learned that if I'm a big believer of, in order for me to take your opinion, I take your lifestyle. And if you are where I would like to be, or I've seen you accomplished in many aspects, I'm definitely taking your advice or your opinion with things, you know? So I tell artists, like, yo, bro, try to listen. I know, like, with me, like, you mentioned with yourself, like, you, like, how many people was like, yo, you sure you don't want to rap again or whatever? Like, because you listen and you take in and you understand the business to this. It's good to love. Yeah.
It is. I mean, no. I agree with what you're saying. It's one of those things where, you know, keep fighting that fight because, you know, it's definitely music business. You know what I mean? This ain't the music play thing. You know what I mean? Like, this is the music business. It's a real, you have to understand, you know, what you're getting into, you know, if you're trying to monetize and make money off.
Yeah. Well, I definitely, I just want to say thank you, you know, like, for everything, because you did drop mad gems, you know. You gave a lot of, you know, perspectives, you know, like, different perspectives for artists in order to just generate some sort of income or learn how to generate some sort of income. So I want to just say thank you in reference to that, you know. I definitely want, I you know, my ass is going to continue building with you. You already know that, you know. I appreciate everything. I appreciate everything. Do you have, congratulations, before I get on to that one, but congratulations on just everything you worked so hard for. It's well deserved.
Thank you.
Well deserved.
Thank you. God is the greatest, man. He's the greatest. So, you know, I don't play with that. But, you know, I would just implore anyone who want to, you know, get in this business and do, you know, what we do, you know, just study up on your craft, man. Like, you know, like, there's so many different ways nowadays to get into the game. You know what I mean? Like, so, you know, entrepreneurship is at an all-time high, you know, especially with COVID. People are kind of forced to figure out what they're going to do. Mm-hmm. Now, you know,
well,
it's like anything else, you know, you gotta kind of work hard to reap some reward and benefit from it.
That's a fact. You know, if I hear someone telling me, like, yo, I don't know how to make money, I'm just like, what? There's nothing but money out there. It's just a matter of you figuring it out. You understand?
Figuring it out, staying focused, and not being distracted, because the same tools, and I'll leave you with this, the same tools that we're talking about enriching yourself with, you have to learn to use them, because they can also be a distraction to keep you from doing what you need to do. Right?
That's a fact.
You know what I mean? So like, I have to limit my intake of social media, because, it can be very distracting. Instagram can be distracting.
Definitely can.
TikTok and all this stuff can be distracting. So you have to get in, get out. And I mean, get in, get what you need from it. Keep your eyes and ears open to what's happening, the changes, what you see happening in and around these different platforms. But, don't find yourself scrolling, 5 hours out of the day, like just on Instagram. Like, I'm pretty sure everyone kind of does the same thing, where like they pick it up, look at it for a while and put it down. But, we all have probably had the habit of picking up our phone even while we're still in bed before we even actually get up. Yeah. And that can turn, and I'm telling you from perfect personal experience, that can turn into 30 to 40 minutes of just scrolling and Absolutely. Going through the, it's like, I call it the wiki wormhole, because I do that with Wikipedia sometimes too. But it's like, you can find yourself in this wormhole where you're just like, you'll see something is added or hashtag, you'll click on that hashtag, or you'll click on a picture of something else. Now, I mean, you're looking at that profile, or you're looking at this artist stuff, and you ain't even get up yet. You're laying in bed. It's still, you technically woke up at a certain time, but you didn't get out of your bed for like 30 minutes. No, you know what I mean? So like, wake up, give thanks, and get your day going, and figure out how social media plays a part in what you need to get accomplished that day.
Yeah.
I'm telling any way I can help people avoid the pitfalls and the things that, I went through. I always want to kind of share that wisdom. You feel me? Because, hey, man, what good is me having all this information if I ain't sharing it? You know what I mean?
No, you're right. You're actually right. And you know how they say, like, I mean, when you come with, for example, like you're coming in a good space. It's good to always help others. I'm a strong believer. God is good. Good karma. Everything you put out comes back. So with all that good information, I'm sure that it's gonna come back to you in a different way, different aspect, or or whatever it is, So I'm grateful for it. So thank you for that. Definitely.
No, thank you for having me. No, I mean, I appreciate it. Want to give Bird a shout out too. You know what I mean?
Yo,
Bird, what up, boy?
Bird, you already know Big Bird, man, the building. I got mad love for Bird. But I want to definitely, Dre, if you have anything coming up soon, where can we find all your information and everything?
You can follow me at Dre Howard, DREHOWARD. I think that's all my things uniform. I think I might be Dre Howard on Twitter. But IG, Dre Howard. I'm gonna start posting more again. I don't really post too much, you know what I mean? Because I just, again, it's like I'm constantly either doing something, so to me, it's like, what am I posting for? You know what I mean? Like, I'm just gonna post a selfie of myself. You know what I mean? So it gets weird for me personally. But like, I have started posting more of the things that I've been working on. You know what I mean?
Okay.
Like, so I definitely, and then hey, hit me up. Any artists out there, hit me up. You feel me? Always looking, to hear new stuff and see what's going on, see what people are, and
definitely. We're gonna grow up. Listen, I'm telling you, we're gonna grow more. I want you, like, and I'm gonna speak to you in reference to that, but I want to start utilizing like on panels and stuff like that, because I definitely do. Like, I work with other partners of mine, like somebody in Connecticut. I did a panel recently, and I had a few people from the labels, and it was such a dope panel, and just networking events overall through Zoom, and
yeah. I'm with it, man. I'm with it. Let me know. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Well, thank you again. We're gonna speak soon. Appreciate you very much, and guys, you're gonna find his information in the description below, and you already know about us, man. The Artistry. Follow us, the Artistry NY or platform. Subscribe, like, comment, share, and we're out. Peace.
Yes.
The Artistry.
Catch us on YouTube, Facebook, or outlets.
Follow us, The Artistry NY.